What do you call a person who's unnaturally fond of the dead? Shouldn't her cohabitation with 7, albeit odd, fellows raise serious questions, even to an ardent suitor? There's an air of inevitability here. A spectacular wedding's going to happen. I'll need the whole gang to deal with this outrage. Let's tone down those colors. Let's stomp them into submission. Grimm does dirt.
What happened? Hello everyone. I am your mad host, and welcome back to McGee's Grimm. This is Snow White. I don't necessarily remember what the hell just happened. All I remember is, well, Snow White died. I remember I was angry about something, and either way, a wedding is going to happen regardless, so
guess you're coming with me, eh? Flaming pea!
If we're going to have a wedding, I suppose, since we can't really do much, I agree with Grimm. It's time to bring in everyone that has existed. Every person we have ever met in these tales shall come with us. Starting with the one who brought us into this adventure at the very beginning.
Flaming
the boy who learned what fear really was.
Let's put an end to this thing.
And of course, as much as I have hyped it up, who could forget about the girl without hands? She could bring some quite good and intriguing light into this wedding. I mean, yeah, she has most of her hands, but again, there's quite a fantastic story that goes with it. A wondrous tale of a terrible father. I mean, it's almost a requirement that she come to this wedding.
Beware the sausage!
I believe, at least.
Don't delay, but stomp away! Flaming pea!
Oh, and how could I forget the Master Thief? I mean, I've talked him up so much, being one of my favorite tales. Of course. He would be wonderful. Who knows? You never know if, like, we have in need of an exterminator or some just if some unwelcome guests were to show up and we need end of the undead variety. Of course, it'd be perfect, wonderful, in fact. Who better than him?
I'll make him crispy.
That we shall, Grimm.
I still have my enormous evil powers.
Stop it!
And yes, the sun just murdered a vampire, you saw it correctly. But we are still not done with our tale, for we still have many people to bring back. Such as the wondrous pig from the singing boar, from the singing bones. A present I'm sure Grimm himself
Don't
is
delay,
most pleased
but
with.
stomp away! Porcine Fury! It's clear!
And yes, we get to ride a very massive ass boar into the world. Again, this is something Grimm is always pleased to see. Because he likes him. He loves himself some good old bovine. And I will say the music that plays through this tale is probably one of my favorites. I like it at least.
I've got a wedding to crash. Let's move! Stomp it good.
Of course, we must not forget this. Of course, the fisherman and his wife. How could I be so mistaken? They also would make good, especially with especially if we got his very cruel wife with him to join us, who wanted everything, including to be God eventually, all because of her dumb hubris, of course. But still, a good reminder for this. Who knows? Perhaps in her massive cruelty, this wedding will be one hell of a tale. I'd be at least. Who knows? Maybe the fish himself will show up and give us a good show, eh? So come on, join!
Let's get this over with.
I think I agree with you, Grimm. Let's get this over with, indeed. This has been getting quite silly. Oh, and Iron John, of course.
Romping, stomping, butt kicking good.
We can't forget our roots, of course. Our very Terminator-esque ones, at least. Because, to be fair, that tale was so much fun! It took advantage of such a very simple concept, and just took all the advantage of it.
Don't delay, but stomp away!
And of course, who can forget old King Midas? The joys that he brought of Greek mythology. As much as I was ranting and bagging on it for the most part, but it still was very important. If I do have to see the gold once more and its awfulness. Ugh. Yeah, I'm just gonna get through this because, well, I don't need to see these eye-bleeding textures again, personally at least. It's a sight I could be well off without, personally. Thank you. Convenient moving platforms. Again, I apologize for my constant, humming and musings. I just love this song so much. And now we move on to continue onwards with our tale. to the next people we must bring to invite along.
I've had enough. Please do,
Let's put an end to the sting.
Thank you, Zeus, for murdering Midas for us. It makes it a lot much easier, really.
But stomp it!
And of course, how could we not leave in Pinocchio, the horrible devil child who was created from wood through some very rather nefarious means. The little shit of a child who never really learned his lesson. Oh yes, of course we're gonna bring him in. I mean, yeah, he'll probably end up murdering half of everyone, but that's exactly the reason why. They'll make the wedding all the more interesting for. They'll bring so much new memories that the people would have obviously forgotten.
Stop it! Ahead by a nose! See? Size does matter.
Thank you, Pinocchio. And with that, we will let's travel on to his nose and see what else we can get. See who else we can invite onto this store.
Liquids have drowned my sorrows, but this is ridiculous.
Assuming I can actually finagle my way onto his nose, that is, because I'm, well, kind of, as they say, not good at my platforming, even after all this time. That has been a variable that will probably never change.
Cruel, cool water.
Not if I just keep walking off like that, it won't. Jesus. Oh no!
Wicked
I think I
water.
tried it that time, sadly. And yes, we only have 33% after, even though we've met a good majority of our cast so far from most of our tales. But again, there's still much more we have to visit.
Wicked water.
Why am I so bad at getting onto your nose, Pinocchio? I'll never know. It makes me kind of sad, really. Because, I mean, it's not without a lack of I'm not, like, trying to fuck up on purpose. Like, I've always had trouble. Oh, there we go. Thank God. Alright, good. Just get on without much hassle.
But stomp it.
I skipped that last part, didn't I? I did. Oh well. But let us move onwards, for we have still more people to visit, I believe. Oh, over here, I believe. Yes. Thank you again, Pinocchio, for giving us a way to come in. Because who else to invite into a wedding than our good old friend, Godfather Death? Oh yes.
Stop it!
The proper person to give Godfather a child. Not God, not Satan,
Stomp it
but
good.
Death. The most
Stomp
fair
it
of all of
good.
them, really.
Chomp and stomp. Stomp it good.
And of course, in order to show that we are a very cultured mind, of course we're going to invite Mulan over, because, well, again, we'll seem more cultured by doing so. It's a natural step up, really. I'm sure she'll agree. Besides, she's done her time in war, and she'd obviously would want some time off
But stomp away!
relax, to think it over, to just maybe enjoy herself for once. You all don't believe that, do you?
You're right! But stomp away!
And now to visit into a very familiar scene, another familiar scene of Beauty and the Beast.
Let's get this over with.
For we do need a bit of royalty, of course. That's still always a good precedent. But it doesn't mean we can't be a bit monstrous with it. Pieces are slowly coming into play. But what of Snow White, you ask? We'll get to her eventually.
It's so good! Rump and stump!
And of course, because we'll need to keep track of the budget, because weddings are rather expensive, as we know, who else better than the rather conservative Ebenezer Scrooge? I mean, he knows better than anyone how much things must cost. So I'll make sure at least we keep things relatively in check, not go absolutely apeshit with wealth. So he would be perfect to come along. If anything, just to help cheer him out, just because, I mean, to be fair, those ghosts were being kind of horrible dicks to him.
Rump and stump! Not quite a flamethrower, but you'll do! Let's ride!
Also, here's this dragon. You may be asking why the hell there's a dragon, but all I can tell you is hush. Hush now. Don't question the mighty dragon. Because the dragon is key and important. Also, he's just adorable. Didn't you see his derpy expression? And yet, that is still not everyone, for we are still missing a good few people. And again, it would be rather rude to kind of, miss them all out. Like the Golden Goose. I mean, we had a lot of fun with him. His tail had fun, and it got silly, but it was worth it in the end.
What?
Of course, there's always the Frog Prince. Down by the bayou, as they say. But of course, there's always also our other wonderful friend, the Pied Piper of Hamelin, the Rat King himself. Because why not? And I believe... Hey, it's our good old friend Puss in Boots! Alright, shit. I got so excited that I missed out what he was going to say and possibly do. It happens when you meet so many people, like Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bag Wolf over there. We'll say, for lack of a better word, he got his revenge finally and actually decided to eat the poor stupid girl. I think that's a better way to say it. And of course, no wedding is complete without a little bit of Ragnarok.
To those who are about to be squished, I salute you!
I think it's time let's bring an end to all of this. For our guests are here, it's only proper we get this wedding started for real. For indeed all good things must come to an end, tragically.
Stop it!
I'm gonna miss doing this in the series for sure.
Romping, stomping, butt kicking good! These old tales have lost their sheen, and now you know what Grimm means. I've toyed with gods, I've frightened queens, told Jack to shove those wretched beans. Mixed holiday bells and festive cheer, killed happy endings, they're so queer. Queasy and me in the show with a sneer, rather be dead than to show any fear. Pimped for evil, pissed on the poor, punched dumb royals defiled with gore, bathed in blood, cuddled huge rats, punished tens of deserving brats. I spread doom darkness far and wide, when my night reigns you'll quake and hide, beg for relief to turn the tide. Oops, too late, you're smoked, you're fried. Sogged some priests, others I fleeced, ruined several obnoxious beasts. What joy to cause painful deceit of hypocrite foul, two-faced beast. So now you see I've said things right. I can't my stuff enough now, but kicking tails torn to shreds. But I can't rest, there's thousands more to ingest and stop.
Of course, there's always someone in the way. Someone who just can't refuse to let the story end to its naturally drawn conclusion. Oh well. I suppose such people exist in the world. Ruining all of this progress I just made of this wall. Oh well, I suppose I'll let me fix this first before we decide to get rid of the last of these dwarves. The last of the meddlers and the filers, the imbeciles and ruiners. For we've gotten rid of pretty much every other obstacle in the way. Everyone in the way. Quite handy, honestly. And to be fair, I am rather pleased with my handiwork, if I do say so myself. So let's go over and talk to that dwarf. And show him exactly the errors of his ways, since he tried to stop this story from his premature end. His brothers are dead. And soon, well, he shall as well. And, well, I have been your mad host. And this has been American McGee's Grimm. And I will leave you all in the hands of Grimm himself.
A delicate queen's simple longing for a lovely daughter initiates an untoward turn of events. A plain child would have been less trouble and caused less pain, but it wouldn't have been much of a tale.
I should have a child soon. The king may know how to make one. She'll be a beautiful girl. A name, Doctor. A name. One that befits her world and winter birth.
Bloody snow maid Mariel. Pink shaved ice is older. Red frozen custard cake. Cerise Dion.
Don't be a cruel twit. Call her Snow White.
Snow White is a euphemism. Cherry Slushy would be more apt. The dead queen's barely cold when her substitute arrives. The king was looking for a new partner, but presumably left the vetting process to others.
We'll do without the till death do us part and other nonsense.
Shouldn't the Holy Father sanctify our union and something or thingamajiggy?
Ridiculous drivel. I'm wed to darker arts. My acolyte will show you sanctification. You're mine forever. Now, where's the wine?
Not bad. Perhaps I've misjudged this woman. No.
I'm still the one, right? Still the most beautiful.
Still the one.
Still the most evil.
Still the one.
How about now? Still the most beautiful.
Still, whoops.
I'm gonna tell a lie.
Snow White's more beautiful. You're close, dear, but she's got my eyes.
Off with her head! Stop wriggling like a fetal rat. You'll take these signs of my affection and like it.
Couldn't you love me a bit less, my dear?
And you, take that rat away. Cut off her nose and ears and bring me the heart. Leave the rest of her for the carrion eaters and worms.
Resistance is useless. Besides, better to die by my hand than be torn apart by hungry wolves.
Death from a friendly face. So much more preferable. Perhaps I could trade something else. I can be docile. I look dead stunning in little maid's outfit.
I've done some dodgy things, but I never murdered a princess. A man needs standards. How about this? You give me your jewelry and your underwear. And you never return to the castle.
What castle? Never saw it, never will.
Good. I'll just gut a boar and take its heart for the queen. I'll be back for your, things. Fresh heart, your majesty. Still warm.
Snow White, her underdrawers intact, evaded the huntsman only to run into a ravenous wolf pack. Hacking and clawing, she stumbles into a dank abode.
There better be some grub in this dump. I'm famished. And I could use a kip.
What's that? A whale? A woolly mammoth? A giant?
A woman, you dolt. And she's eating all our food.
Seize her, bind her, punish her, kill her!
Hold on. Hey, lady. You stay here and clean up the damage, and nobody gets hurt. Deal? Can I have my own room? Do the cooking, and you can have the key to the outhouse.
The bargain holds. The house needs constant attention, but it's quiet. The smell is only mildly nauseating. The dwarves don't bother her much when she takes a bath, and they're mostly away, doing stuff in the mine.
She's up to something, I'm certain. She patted my head.
Doubtful. Not a plotter, and really not very bright. She's got no idea what we're doing down here.
The little bitch is alive. Before I have your tongue ripped out and your liver flayed like a flank steak, you'll tell me what you've done. The queen had her way. The huntsman fooled nobody but himself, and he's paying the price for his delusion. The wicked queen's disguise is good, but Snow White, even dazed and confused, is not entirely stupid.
Oh no, stepmother. I won't touch that fruit. That fruit is rotten. That fruit is lethal. Ah!
Snow White seems dead. Been dead some days. The funeral ought to be a sure sign that she's expired, but a look at the mourners suggests a different conclusion.
Who pledges undying affection and makes love to the dead? There's a name for such characters. It's disgusting. Don't knock it if you haven't tried it.
I have a riddle. When are the dead not dead? But they're living. Got it in one. It's zombie time.
You will be my queen.
No, you will be mine.
At last, nuptials I can relate to. The offspring of this revolting union will require a very wide berth.
Prince, spawn is required. I'll deal with this soon-to-be ex-royal person. You intend to do your worst. Is there anything I can say or do to change your mind? You could beg, or plead for mercy, or cry, tear your clothes, beat your breast, or rip your flesh. If you wish, but nothing will change my mind. Prince, are my stepmother's shoes ready?
Oh yes, properly formed and warmed.
Then strike up the band. Well, this ending is marginally less stupid than the one that has the wicked queen paying for her crimes by falling off a cliff. But her dad escapes the nasty fate he's earned, and the dwarves, nothing much. Well, it's Grimm's world, really. They're just living in it. Except the queen. May all our stories end so well. Until next time.
And that was the end of American McGee's Grimm. I hope you guys have enjoyed this series because, well, I've enjoyed it myself. Just because it's a tale that it's a game that I feel is very close to my heart, where it basically is. It just kind of allows you to know many of the famous Grimm tales that you might have never known in your time, and tries to get in attempts to make them in a way of giving them a bit more of a different perspective, really. And when it's not the Grimm tales, it's usually some other more well-known stories that people have heard. In truth, I stumbled upon this game years ago myself, and at first I didn't think much about it, but after I played it, it was just like, it just kind of dawned onto me. It felt like a game that was meant for someone like me who prefers a more darker perspective of any perspective. And well, many years later, when I started doing the Let's Playing scene, I decided to do this game eventually, just as something to relax with, because this is a game to truly kind of enjoy yourself and take your time. And I know a lot of people have enjoyed the series, if mostly just to see this game, or in some cases enjoy the mad ramblings of a crazy person. But yeah, I am sad that this game is now over, and I wish I could have kept going, but sadly there's only so many tales a person can do before the end must go. I do have some other things planned, but for now, there'll be some other things that I will work on in the meantime. I hope you guys have enjoyed this Let's Play again, as always, and the guys, you all who have commented and I've been able to talk to, thank you all for your input, and it's been a pleasure being able to get to know, hear you guys, and well, until then, everyone, I have been your mad host, and I will see you all in the next Let's Play then. Take care, everyone, and have fun. May all of our Let's Plays end just as well. Until next time, everyone.